Metaswitch is
Open, supportive and honest.
exciting,
Relaxed.
collaborative,
Is fun. It's friendly.
But also very challenging and enjoyable.
It's a really creative place to work.
So what makes Metaswitch really special is the sense of family you have. We're not just colleagues, we are friends, we see each other very often.
What we do at Metaswitch is very exciting. There's loads of innovation. It's really difficult technology at the same time. We build software for service providers and large enterprises that allows them to communicate better with each other, whether that's via verbal, on the voice, messaging, real time with video. We're having loads of brilliant people, brilliant engineers that works incredibly well together in solving some of the most challenging communications problems in the world. Innovation is exciting because you're building something new. And in Metaswitch, we just don't talk about it, we do it every day.
There are three main areas we recruit graduates into Metaswitch: engineering, system test and customer support.
Engineering is where we build all of our products that the company sells. Software engineering is a very collaborative process. You're basically working with the other people in your team to solve problems, figure out the best way to basically write the highest quality code that you can.
I think the best thing about my job is watching that start to finish delivery. So a customer comes to us with a problem and we solve it. We think about how we could solve it and we tell them this is the smart way that you can do this. That's really rewarding.
The most exciting part of the job for me is I really enjoy the agile work environment that we have. It's this element of taking on a task and it's almost like problem solving. Like, okay, how am I gonna solve this one? What tools do I need? Who am I gonna need to ring? And then you get to the bottom of it and you finally get that moment where your test passes and you think, yes.
All software developers have to be very analytical, very focused on problem solving, but Metaswitch developers are more so. We take people from a wide range of backgrounds, not just computer science, and that means that people are often willing to be creative, try new ways of solving problems and do things a way that hasn't been done before.
My initial view of software engineering as a profession was that it was quite a lonely kind of job. I think that was maybe something that I initially thought. I had this image in my head of sitting at a desk slaving away behind a keyboard all day, but it's really not like that. There's so much communication and teamwork involved.
The kind of work we do in system test is fundamentally focused on finding bugs. Our job is to write code, design tests, execute manual tests, to discover the problems in our product, to spot them, to report them to dev and to get them fixed.
I've been in Metaswitch for nearly 16 years now. I was writing some C code actually on some of the products which we still have out in the market, which I'm managing testing for today.
Testing is about investigating, understanding, seeing how the product works in the real world.
For me, the bit I enjoy most, I think, is taking on a large new product and just the first kind of couple of days of getting your head around how are we going to test this? What are the tools that we're going to have to bring to bear on this problem? And what are the key risks that we're trying to mitigate? And working through it can be really exciting sessions.
People in system tests, evil mostly. You need a particular kind of imagination to be able to find some of the more esoteric bugs in our product. Seriously though, everybody's very inquisitive, everybody's very clever, but most of all, just very friendly and very nice. It's a great place to work.
Some of the key skills for a tester are curiosity and a desire to just keep digging. I think creativity is hugely important. You've got a bunch of really smart people who are working incredibly hard trying to make the product as best it can be, and your job is to come in as the critic and say, yeah, but have you thought about this or have you thought about that? And communication is really important as well.
Support is helping our customers be successful. They've bought our products from us and we want to make them use them in such a way that makes them successful in their business.
When you work in support, you are the face of Metaswitch to customers, and we are the ones in charge of making sure that they are kept happy. We are the ones who solve the problems and help them configure their networks.
The most exciting part of the support job is when there's a real crisis and when you have to drop everything and focus on one real serious customer problem. It's really high pressure, but it's quite fun in a way, and it is really, really exciting, and it's so satisfying when you fix the problem and you finally get to the bottom of it.
The most exciting thing about my job is when we have a really important strategic customer that has bought a lot of equipment and we have tight deadlines and we have to deliver. So when we manage to make it, it's really rewarding.
The highlight of the last 6 months for me has been helping to support a customer to migrate their old system to a new system based on our product. It was one of the first in the world to do so. We won an industry award for it, and we're very proud.
I think the key 3 skills that a support engineer needs are the technical ability, the problem solving, the same problem solving that you'd use in a science subject, for example, at university. Communication skills to explain something in simple terms to someone who maybe doesn't have the same background as you. And the third skill is the organisational skills to really get things done, to push projects forward whilst you're being distracted by the needs of customers ringing you up and having to deal with the day-to-day problems that need solving.
One really cool thing about being an intern here is that they have free starter drinks. So on my very first day, me and my department went down to the nearby pub and we just had drinks and talked, and it was good because I really felt very welcomed here.
I was lucky enough to be accepted to an internship when I started. So I was, I think, about halfway through university studying physics at the time, and programming wasn't really something that I'd thought about or considered, but I had a couple of friends who actually had worked at Metaswitch previously. So I think that was what really got me into it, was just starting here and seeing the kinds of problems that we could solve.
There are many interns at Metaswitch, so all of them come from different universities and different places, different countries. So it is really very interesting to interact with them because you get to know different backgrounds and the different things they study. And when we all come together to work at the same company, it's just nice.
I have really loved being an intern here because there's a good work-life balance. So you have your work in the morning, and then all the interns, we meet up for lunch most days. And then we've also had a Friday pub lunch. It has become a tradition.
Metaswitch has got a great social side. Outside of work we have our regular pub trips like this one, we have morale events, the Christmas party. Inside work too, there's a really strong social side to the company. I have lunch with my colleagues and friends every day, and every year there'll be a conference where people from around the world will gather in Enfield, and you can meet people who usually you only speak to on the other end of a phone call. So it's nice to have a real personal connection to everyone at the company.
In terms of the work environment, it's a really great company to work for. People keep to quite flexible hours. It's great to work with some of the brightest people. It's a very stimulating environment. We always have really great conversations over lunch. I just really enjoy working there.
My experience of Metaswitch from day one was incredibly welcoming, actually. It's really nice to come in on your first day and be somewhere and think, actually all of the people that I'm speaking to think in a very similar way to me. And I don't have to work really hard to feel like I'm included or anything. It's just there. And if you combine that with the fact that we've got sports at lunchtime, you can get really involved really quickly.
I think that at Metaswitch, one of the really amazing things is that you start within like a cohort, a year group. And we find ourselves, we meet up together for lunch every single day, and we go out to, a pub or a restaurant for lunch. We actually make cakes for each other once a week, which is a very good way of staying friends.
I joined Metaswitch straight out of university. I loved working with computers, and Metaswitch was a company that offered me a chance to have a complete career progression just working with computers. Within a few years, I discovered that people were actually much more interested in computers, and I ended up somewhere totally different, and I'm doing management as head of test.
I think that Metaswitch helps you develop as a person because it's not just about your job. Your manager is interested in you as a person rather than just how well you're performing.
I've been at Metaswitch 14 years. The thing that keeps most people at Metaswitch is that it's always interesting, it's always new, and you're always learning.
The best thing for me about Metaswitch is that I'm always able to push myself. Every time I find the job I'm doing gets easy, my manager will find me something harder to do. These days I get to decide what it is we're going to do and how to satisfy our customers at a very high level, which is scary but fun.
Metaswitch doesn't just encourage you and help you develop, they push you gently even if you're feeling slightly nervous about it.
There's so many experts in Metaswitch who are always willing to help. I've never had a situation where I've rung someone up and they've sort of gone, why on earth are you bothering me? I'm way too important for you to even bother ringing. They're always, yep, let me see what I can do, let me talk you through this, and that's fantastic. It's just a very kind of egalitarian environment for dispersing knowledge.
I decided to join Metaswitch because I am absolutely enamored with its people, its culture, It's commitment to excellence. That's really what attracted me.
Metaswitch, on the whole, tends to hire people who, they're obviously all very intelligent, they're all used to being one of the most intelligent people in their class. But I think it's great in that like, you have this culture of vulnerability and you can feel more like you can admit weakness and you can admit defeat and not worry about the consequences of that.
In the UK, we have offices in North London, Chester, Cambridge, Coventry and Edinburgh.
Metaswitch's head office in the UK is in Enfield in North London.
My morning commute to Metaswitch is a 15-minute walk across Town Park. It's nice to be able to get into London in 30-40 minutes.
So within engineering, I have travelled a fair amount. There's quite a lot of visiting customers, which is actually part of the development process. But there's also things like conferences and industry events that we'll go to, which might be to just network with other people, it might be to present our ideas or just get input from other people on how they're doing things.
I think the highlight of my career was the culmination of a project I worked on for 18 months last year in New York, where the customer brought a big new product launch to market. They had a big party in a large New York hotel, and the announcements was covered by Wall Street Journal and Wired magazine.
So Metaswitch is on a path for, I believe, greatness. And I believe we're going to be growing into, as the world is unfolding and adopting more of our software technology, I think we're going to be on a path where we can make a really significant impact to the industry and the world around us.